Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we have to end this unit by completing this part, that is errors in the instrument. So after this lecture, our unit number 3 will be completed. Okay. So in last lecture or up to last lecture, we have studied about different types of static and dynamic characteristics of the instruments, measuring instruments, and significance of that and use of that. Okay, so why they are important, that we have seen. Now we have to see errors in an instrument. So with the completion of this point, we will complete this unit. Okay, so of course we have seen what do you mean by error before studying dynamic characteristics. In static characteristics, we have seen what do you mean by error. But if you see this term error, this error can be of any type. Okay, so there are number of reasons which are available. Okay, so we have to start with that. So first of all, we have to see what do you mean by error. Okay, so error is nothing but your true value minus measured value. Okay, if there is any difference between the standard true value and the measured value, then we can say that there is an error. Okay, so it can also called as measured value minus true value. Okay, so why the two definitions are given over here? This is need to be understood, because if you see, sometimes your true value will be higher than measured value. Okay, suppose your desired value is 8 volt and you are getting a 7 volt as a measured value, then here in this case error will be 1, or sometime your measured value may be greater than this true value. So in this case, suppose it is having a 7 and this is having a 8, so here also the error may be 1. Okay, so based upon the value of a measured variable, okay, so error's definition will change. It will be either true minus measured, or it may be a measure minus true. Okay, so this is all about the errors in the instruments. Okay, now let us see first the sources of errors. So before studying errors, we must know which are different sources of errors or why errors occurs. Okay, so if you see the error, the first important thing is that design limitations. Okay, so design plays most important role, because different types of errors may arise due to certain design limitations. Okay, so which design pattern you are using, which design tools you are using. Okay, so sometimes there may be error in a design, so that's why this design limitation leads to different types of errors in a system, okay, or instrument, we can say. So this is applicable to both system and instrument. Okay, because instrument also can be called as treated as a system. Okay, second and the most important thing is that improper handling and setting. Okay, so suppose you are taking a reading in wrong manner, or you are handling your instrument in improper way, or you are doing some incorrect setting or adjustment, so this also may lead to error. Okay, so that's why we have to take care of that also. Third one is environmental factors. Okay, so this also plays a crucial role in systems error calculation, because if you see the different environmental factors like humidity, temperature, atmospheric pressure, okay, so these are different environmental parameters which may affect the system's performance or instrument's performance. So why it is so? Because earlier we have discussed this point, is that if you take any instrument, inside that there are electronic components. Okay, so and most of the electronic components are based upon your silicon or semiconductor material, we can say, and this semiconductor material is very sensitive to temperature. So you know about the relation of this between this temperature and that current through that semiconductor material. Okay, I will not go deep into that, but in short I can say that, or we can say that semiconductor material is very sensitive to temperature changes or temperature around it. So that's why this may directly affect the performance of components, and in turn it will affect the systems or instruments performance. So that's why again environmental factors are there which are responsible for errors in the system. Again, next important thing is that improper knowledge of the human operator that is the human operator who is operating that system. Okay, so suppose there is one human operator and he don't know about the different parts of that instrument, how to handle that, how to read the manual, then how to set that particular instrument for reading. Okay, for example, suppose you are handling a CRO, okay, and you don't know how to select a channel, how to calculate a frequency, how to calculate a voltage, how to attenuate that input signal, okay, how to measure the frequency across any component, how to apply that probe, okay, so how to connect the CRO to function generator. If you don't know about this, then this is called as improper knowledge, and it may lead to errors in the systems. Okay, so it may be very harmful. So that's why improper knowledge is again important factor which is responsible for error. Okay, next is a defective instrument. This is also important because if you see different type of instruments, after some period of time it is giving you errors due to some we can say defective parts inside that or a defective component inside that. So that's why it may also give a false error, false reading we can say, so it may lead to false error. So that's why defective instrument is also one factor which is affecting the error of the system. Okay, next is incorrect procedure of a measurement. So again if you have knowledge about that any instrument, but you are following the improper procedure for taking reading of any system or any circuit, then again that may lead to error in the system. Okay, so this is all about the incorrect procedure. Okay, next is a mechanical structure. Again if you see due to mechanical structure of instrument like a friction in the bearings of moving parts and gears and hysteresis also, it may also lead to error. Next is a poor maintenance. See, this is again one of the neglected thing while handling any instrument, because we have to maintain everything whatever we are using. Okay, so it may be your car, it may be your instrument, it may be your mobile phone, it may be laptop, it may be PC. So after a certain period of a time maintenance is required. Okay, so if you are doing a maintenance properly, then your systems or instruments life will be higher. Okay, so that's why the maintenance is also important. Okay, and the calibration is part of a maintenance, so we have discussed about that calibration also. Then next is we have to see now types of errors. Okay, so which types of errors are there? So if you see the broad classification of the errors can be of gross error, it can be a systematic error, it can be a schematic error, or it can be a random error. Okay, so let's see it one by one. The first of all, we have to see what do you mean by gross error. Okay, so if you see the gross error, these are mainly human errors due to mistake in taking readings or handling instruments, or incorrect setting and adjustment. Okay, so right now we have seen the sources of errors, and based upon that sources of error, these errors are classified. Okay, so this gross errors is nothing but human operators error we can say, or humans error, like a mistake in readings and handling different types of instruments incorrectly or improperly, and it is also called as personal error. That's why. Okay, so this is called as gross error, and if you see it cannot be mathematically treated, as these are the human errors and we can't predict that. It depends upon human to human. Okay, so that's why it cannot be treated mathematically. Complete elimination is not possible, as it depends upon the human, but can be minimized by different types of procedure or steps that we have to follow. For example, we can take, suppose you are handling any instrument, so without relying on one reading, more reading should be taken by different people in order to avoid reading with the same errors. Okay, so this you can done. So you can take the reading number of times, and it should be by different people. Then we can compare that reading afterwards, and the errors can be minimized or reduced, we can say, without assigning only one human to that reading taking procedure. Okay, so that is one we can say arrangement that we can do. Okay, so this is all about the gross error that we have discussed. Okay, so let's move forward to the next error, that is a systematic error. Now these are the most important errors, systematic errors, because mostly we are getting a systematic errors in our systems or instruments. Okay, so that's why we have to see this point in deep. So this is also called as fixed error or fixed errors, and this is due to the shortcomings of an instrument, then defective parts or components, then effect of surrounding environment, or improper procedure and setting. Okay, so again, if you see, there are number of angles to this systematic errors. It can be due to instrument, it can be due to environment, then improper setting, and all these things. Okay, so this also we have to see. So that's why we have to see the types of systematic errors. So due to this number of errors, again systematic errors are classified into three types, that is instrumental error, environmental error, and third is observational error. So let's start with instrumental error. So if you see this instrumental error, these are inherent errors, we can say, due to the tolerance in the component value, like resistors, due to the incorrect setting, we can say, then faulty assembly or different mechanical structures faults, this error can occur. Okay, so it can occur due to the shortcoming of the instrument, as we have discussed, because these arise due to the mechanical structure of the instruments, like a friction in the bearing, then moving parts, then gear, then hysteresis, like this. Then this also occurs due to mishandling and improper use of this instrument. Okay, then this also occur due to loading effects on instrument. Okay, so right now we have discussed about the gross error. In that also we have seen that incorrect setting and adjustment. Okay, that also comes under the gross error, but that was related to purely related to human. But in this instrumental error is present, like a friction in the bearings of moving parts and all. Okay, so due to that, whatever the instrument that we are using, it may give you a false reading. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so there are different loading effects also on the instruments, and due to that the instrument may give you error. Okay, suppose you have used one motor, and the load is given to the motor is very heavy, and after that it may happen that your motor will not work properly. Okay, so it is due to the improper we can say or improper handling of that motor, or loading effect, we can say. So this is all about the instrumental error. So we can avoid this error by selecting a suitable instrument for a particular application of measurement. Then we can select correct setting on the instrument. Then we have to calibrate that instrument against the standard. Okay, and we have to apply some correction factors. Suppose you are having some sort of error in the system, and after that you can apply some correction factor, or you can give some mathematical treatment for that, and you can reduce that. Okay, so that also comes under the instrumental error avoidance or care that you have to take while handling the instruments. Okay, so next is environmental error. Again, this is very simple and easy to understand. So environmental condition and surroundings, atmosphere, which is like a pressure, temperature, electrostatic field surrounding the instrument, gives rise to these types of error basically. So how to avoid these types of error, that also need to be considered. So we have to keep the surrounding of that instrument constant with the help of air conditioning or temperature control circuitry. Okay, so as an electronics engineer, you must know how to control the room's temperature, how air conditioning works. Okay, so I think if you have broad knowledge of microprocessor, microcontrollers, and sensor, different types of sensors, then you can design your own system to stabilize the system's temperature. You can study this after third year or last year. Okay, this is also important thing. So you must know how to keep the surrounding conditions of any instrument constant. Then you can reduce the effect of humidity or dust by different types of safety measurements or different types of we can say methods. then the most important thing is that you have to properly shield that particular instrument so that the effect of external fields can be minimized, like a temperature or electrostatic field. Okay, so these measures we have to take. Next thing is that observational error. Okay, so now these observational errors are introduced by the observer also. Okay, so these errors may be introduced due to parallax error while reading a meter, or improper scale selection, again we can see. So parallax error, this is the most important error that occurs in observational errors. So I think we have seen that parallax error previously, due to, we can say, due to some improper angle of that view of that meter or that scale, we get that error. Okay, so this can be minimized by using some digital instruments or digital displays which can show you different digital values directly, or we can print that, or we can save that for further use. So such type of errors can be minimized. Okay, so this is all about the systematic errors, like instrumental errors, environmental errors, and observational errors. So under that we have seen how to remove these errors also. Okay, so these things we have studied now. Now the next thing is random errors. Now these errors occurs due to unknown causes. Means what? Suppose you have purchased one instrument, you have calibrated that, you have tested inside components of that, everything is working properly, no problem, no doubt. But suppose even if while taking the measurements, even if it is giving some error to you, and you don't know about what are the different causes, even if you have done some mathematical treatment, some physical adjustment, some cleaning, some calibration and all, even though after doing all these things you are getting some error, then these types of errors are called as unknown errors, and which can be also called as random errors due to unknown causes. Okay, so these are small basically, and so that we can neglect that, no problem, and they generally follow the probability. Okay, you may have studied a probability, so that's why using a mathematical treatment you can reduce that, because they are just generally random errors and they are not giving you a continuous error in the readings. Randomly they are giving and you don't know why they are giving. Okay, so these errors differs in the values when repeated measurements of the same variable are made. Okay, so if number of times you are taking measurements, then at every time it will not give error, but at every time also it will not vary. Okay, so that's why by taking a number of parameters or number of readings, you can after that you can take average of that, or other mathematical method you can use, and you can predict the output. So that's why these random errors can be mathematically treated. So it is not consistent, but it pushes observer's value up and down randomly. So that we have discussed earlier, it is not consistent, it is not giving you a continuous error. So that's why we can what we can say, we can neglect that, and some with the help of some mathematical treatment they can be analyzed or understood, so that they can be plus or minus in the they can be added or subtracted from the final readings. Okay, so this is all about the random errors. So these types of errors that we have seen, and with this point we have completed this unit. Okay, so in next lecture, maybe in next lecture we will take some revision of this, and we will start with a new point in next week. Okay, so up to this we have completed unit number 3, and if you have any doubts then you can ask me. Okay, you can message me anytime, no problem. Just study this. Okay, so use some different types of resources like a book and other things you can use. Okay, so these are all about the errors. Okay, so one or two more points that I want to mention here, which are not in syllabus but you must know about that. One is corrective measurement or correction is there. So this correction is defined as the value which is added algebraically to the uncorrected result of the measurement to compensate to the assumed systematic error. Okay, so sometimes you know that your system is giving a error. Okay, so after doing reading, or after doing we can say measurement procedure, you can add that plus or minus that error from the final reading, so that you can get actual value or standard value. So this is called as correction. So generally you can see the vernier caliper or micrometer. So mostly if you see the vernier caliper, we are doing this correction, this type of a correction. Okay, if you don't know about the vernier caliper, you can search on internet and study how the correction is done in vernier caliper. Okay, So this is called as correction. Correction means, in short, just compensating that error, a known error. This is for only known error. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. Next thing is that calibration. This thing we have discussed in deep. Again, you must know what do you mean by calibration. It is the process of determining and adjusting an instrument accuracy to make sure its accuracy is within manufacturing specification. So while manufacturing any instrument, manufacturer sets some standards and we can say design that instrument, but after some time it may give you a false reading, so that we have to calibrate that periodically. So we have to compare the result of our instrument with some standard instrument, and after that we have to adjust internal physical components or some different parameters, so that we can get actual readings. Okay, so this calibration is nothing but measuring our system's output after periodically with some standard input or standard quantity, and adjust our instrument accordingly, so that it can give you true we can say true readings. Okay, so this is all about the calibration. Okay, so with this we have completed this unit, and if you have any doubts you can ask me. Okay, so thank you very much. Just go through all the videos that we have studied till now. We have completed 3 units. Okay, so in next lecture we may take a revision of this. Okay, so be prepared for that. So thank you very much. We will stop here. Thank you.